Can I say that on radio?
I'm sorry?
Can I say that on radio?
Say anything you want here.
Well, I don't want to get too crazy now.
Oh, we don't have that problem here. We say whatever we want to say.
Well, they're just money whores. Let's just tell them what they are. I did it again.
Okay, well, we're waiting for Karen. She got lost there. She was on.
Karen's lost in cyber somewhere.
Yeah, she got lost out there in cyberspace somewhere.
I hope she doesn't meet up with Al Gore, because that guy, oh my goodness. You know, or Ted, poor Ted, God rest his soul. The internet was nothing but a series of tubes.
Well, while we're waiting for Karen to get back on here, because one of the things we do want to talk about tonight is the candidacy of some of the things that have been announced out there. We have Ted Cruz now,
yes,
Rand
Ted
Paul,
Cruz.
and who's the other one? Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio, yes.
Yeah,
Senator
he just signed on, and so that's going to be kind of an interesting take on that. But I think, do you think the end game here, like we're talking about, the end game is to obviously get it back down to where we have Bush against Clinton. I think that's what.
Well, that's what they would like.
That's what they would want. Yeah. So anyway, hey, we got Karen back with us. Karen Siegemund
Hi,
from
Karen.
Rage Against the Media. How you doing, Karen? Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah,
I had trouble with Skype, so glad to have gotten through.
It's amazing. Glad you made it, Karen.
Thank you. Me too. So frustrating.
Yeah. First off, let's just, I want to get an update. How's your show going?
Very well. Thank you. It's a lot of work. Good heavens.
Boy, it is. I mean, you probably have the advantage. Do you just call in from where you're at?
What I've been doing until I'm more comfortable, I've been pre-recording it. So I record 1 hour, and it takes me about 7 hours to get one good hour. It's ridiculous. I go over every tiny thing. I have false starts. And I think if I were to just sit down and do an hour, I'd be fine. You know, just get it done. But since I can pre-record, I just nitpick over every time, and it's so annoying, and it really takes me all day. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we're in technological hell right now because I cannot figure out what's going on with my system, and so I end up doing, after we get off the air tonight, I'll spend an hour and a half editing what we did tonight to get everything right. We're just I have got it down to a hardware issue. It's no longer a software issue; it's a hardware. So it's finding. I think I'm going to have to replace sound card. But anyway, yeah, it is a lot of work. I mean,
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and then you do get picky. That's one of the problems I have. I start editing, and I'm like, well, I don't like the way that sounds, and let me take out that 2 seconds of dead air there or what. And then I just finally say, screw it.
Exactly. It gets ridiculous.
Yeah,
you want to make a good product for everybody.
Yeah, well, we try to do that. Anyway, Karen, we're kind of right up your alley tonight. We've got all we've got more candidates to talk about.
Yes.
And I'm really curious as to.
I hear the Democrats have somebody running now.
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
What, is Rin Tin Tin running or something?
Well, we decided we opened up the show tonight and decided that as long as Hillary's running, you're going to hear more of my metrosexual side, and so I'm gonna approach Hillary
John,
like we're in a cat fight. You know,
John,
that's
you really need this, John.
Everyday Americans need a champion, and I want to be that champion.
So you do, John.
Yeah,
you do.
She's going to be our champion, you know.
She's our champion.
Yeah,
oh, for heaven's sake. Have you ever heard anything so idiotic?
Well, I think the last idiotic thing I heard from her is, what difference does it make? And maybe that should be your campaign. I really think that should be your campaign thing. Hey, after Obama, what difference does it make?
Right.
I would every campaign rally I would run would end with that. What difference does it make?
Yeah.
And then,
it's so unbelievable. I mean, it's surreal. You know, when you think about candidates and how, do you have any skeletons in your closet? Do you have anything you don't want people to find out about? Do you have, what dirt should we know? How can we? It's all out there.
Yeah.
It's all out there.
I
Or
think
maybe
literally,
it's not
yes.
even all out there, but what's out there is horrifying, and still she has the guts to do this.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, it's even more. I'm sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, go ahead. I think literally they do have skeletons in the closet.
Yeah,
Real skeletons.
yeah, right? And it's one of two things. Either she's insane and and thinks that it really doesn't matter. What difference does it all make, really? You know, the long list of Ambassador Stevens, the emails, the Benghazi, Ambassador Stevens of Benghazi, everything that's in turmoil in the Middle East, the reset button with Russia, every single thing. You know, either she thinks all that doesn't matter and is therefore insane, or she's right and it doesn't matter. I guess there's a third option, which is that no, there isn't. It's one of those two things. She either thinks it doesn't matter, and hopefully the Democrats will prove her wrong, or we really are.
We're in some deep kimchi.
Or we're insane.
And she's right, and that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, that's true. And you know, I was looking at earlier. One of the things I was pointing out earlier is the fact that what we have here, the poll numbers. You know, they were showing. Yeah, let me tie these two things together for you, Karen, and I want your opinion on it. It seems like the day after she announced she was going to run, we start seeing articles about all of the baggage. Okay, so right away I go, okay, this is going to be one of the tactics. Let's just make all of the scandals and all of the ineptness and all of the other stuff that she's done so monotonous that people are just going to shut it off when they hear it. They're not even going to pay attention to it. So that's how they're going to do damage control. It's going to become yesterday's news. Now you implement that with the gender card, which obviously is going to be played. We're not worried about America's first black president anymore. Now it's going to be America's first female president, that kind of thing. Okay, so you start tying these two things together, and you look at this and you say, excuse me. So you just think, okay, this campaign is going to be one of those campaigns, I think, where they're going to try to turn people off more than they are turn people on. And hopefully everybody just gets so frustrated that they just, screw this. And therefore, the campaign will become, what difference does it make? It's going to be like, well, what difference is it going to make? It's so messed up. Congress is so messed up. Government is so messed up. Hillary Clinton's so messed up. Barack Obama was so messed up. Jeb Bush is even more messed up. And people are just going to say, what difference does it make? So that's why I think it should be a campaign. And I think somewhere in there that probably is the objective. Let's just make people so disgusted with everything that's going on that nobody wants to do anything. What do you think?
Yeah, there already is a feeling of despair, I think.
Yeah.
But the thing that I struggle to fathom is, I mean, I understand it, but part of me still doesn't understand it. How, if you're a Democrat, you can take this.
Again, that's what I was going to point out. The polls came out today, and they were talking about, you know, in terms of the baggage that she's got and the damage to her campaign that's already there because of the email scandal now on top of Benghazi and everything else. And just almost mystically, the numbers are exactly the same that Mitt Romney was talking about. 49% of the people in the country still think she's a great gal. So maybe Romney was onto something when he said, 47% of the people will vote left no matter what happens. And
I think that's absolutely true. He didn't mean anything disparaging by that. It's fact. Yeah. And so you don't deal with those people. You move on. And the mastery of the media at turning that into the one big negative, which he didn't mean it as he was just parsing the demographics and not saying it's black people or poor people. It's not that but they're masters at twisting everything. And look at her campaign ad. You know, we all roll out these big speeches and announcements, and we say what we believe in and what's important to us, and none of that was in her little ditty. It was
Do it.
right.
Don't make me play it again. don't do it. It's just not. It's not right.
Well, you know that phrase, "It's our time" or something. That same phrase is the what's the word for it? The tagline of a dating service for older people. And they just stepped on this in every conceivable way. Isn't that astonishing?
I'm waiting for how they're gonna replay one of the catchiest. I have to say one of the catchiest things I heard from the Obama campaign during one of his speeches. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
I thought, man, what a catchy phrase. I mean, that is, and I'm wondering how they're going to play that.
This bud's for you.
Yeah. Well, and in stark contrast to Marco Rubio's speech today.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, give us your take on that. What do you think about Mr. Rubio? Yeah, I agree. You know what you did? Yeah. You just duplicated the thing that took place on Fox News the other night when they had Ann Coulter and somebody else on there, and they were asked to comment on Hillary Clinton entering the race, and it was like 10 seconds of dead air. Everybody just sat there.
Well, it's interesting that Charles Krauthammer really likes him and sees him as possibly one of the better torchbearers for the right.
Right.
Which is really, really interesting. I think he's fabulous. He speaks incredibly well, although I didn't think he did that great a job with the speech today. But
yeah,
he was
missing the water bottle. Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Don't be so superficial. Come on.
But remember when CNN and others, but especially CNN, said that may just have been the end of his career? Do you remember this? The water bottle?
Yeah.
And that speech that he gave, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that was one of our iconic things that we held up as why we need to rage against the media. Because he gave the most extraordinary response to the State of the Union speech. He was outstanding, and all anybody knew was the water bottle. Even if they hadn't watched it, that's all they knew. Maybe especially if they hadn't watched it, that's all that they knew. Zero about the content. And they, again, the left is just, they're masters at this. This is what they do. I like him. I'm glad he's in. To me, but this may be just me getting older, he seems awfully young. And I like him where he is. I really like him where he is, but I love that he's entered into it, and they'll be hard pressed to attack him. He's young. He's he played the whole, I'm just anybody line. This is the boy from Hope. He's the son of a bartender and a maid. How?
Well, I think that's why, in some ways, he'll be targeted harder than the other ones, because he's Cuban. He falls into the Hispanic demographic, which is something that the left is catering to, pandering to, in big way.
But it'll make him harder to attack for that reason. And we had this at one of our rallies when CNN went after him. Hey, CNN, are you racist? So we can pull that card, and as rage against the media, there's like my personal thoughts, but then there's rage against the media. I just want to hold the media accountable to representing all the candidates, left and right, equally and fairly and any question that they would ask a Republican, they should also ask a Democrat.